over the years, different doctors have all told me that the pain from gout is second only to childbirth. This is 3 totally random doctors that told me this. It's, look, you've got one of the worst pains you could possibly ever get, and it's nothing to laugh at.
My name is Steve Clisby, and welcome to the Gout Show. This is where we're on a journey of gout discovery, if you can say that. I've recently been diagnosed with gout, and ever since I've been searching for things I can do to make sure that I'm treating it properly so I can avoid the disruption that gout can bring to my life. When gout pain kicks in, I can tell you from personal experience, it is just not fun. In my case, it was my toe. It was very, very painful. So much so that I had to go to the hospital. I'm African American, so there were some comments about, being able to see some redness in the skin tone, but you can't see redness in my skin tone. So I was perplexed, to say the least. It also makes you feel, you're a bit helpless because you don't know why. And it got me to the point where I literally could not walk. So that's my experience. And since then, I've had some very minor attacks, but I know now. So anytime I feel like it's coming back, then I immediately go to my doctor and ask for some kind of medication. But a gout attack can be tamed and managed when you know the signals and you know the right treatment plan. What you'll hear today are real stories from real people. People that have had real experiences with gout. But remember, everyone's health is unique. No 2 stories are the same. If you or someone else you love has gout, go to www.thegoutshow.com, where you can get help for your situation. In the first 2 episodes, we met Ashley, who didn't have the telltale signs and symptoms of gout, and Ken, who spoke a lot about the role of his family history and genetics in gout. In today's episode, we are going to talk more about the truth about gout pain. Let me introduce you to Oso.
Well, I'm 57 years old. My name is James Wallman. My friends call me Oso, which is Spanish word for bear. I'm from Northwest Florida, but I live here in Asheville, North Carolina. It started years ago when I was about 21 years old, and I've been a chef all my life, and I was down in Florida. I was down at the bayou by my house catching fish all day, and my foot started to hurt a whole lot, my big toe and my left foot, and I had no idea what it was. And our house is about 30 miles inland, so I drove home, and I drove by the apothecary, and the guy named Perry owns an apothecary there. And he didn't go to the doctor most of the time. He had small stuff. You just stop by and talk to Perry, the small town, I said, Perry, my foot hurts a lot. And he says, take your shoe off. And I took my shoe off. And he looked at it. He said, it's warm. And I said, yeah, it is. You got gout, son. Over the years, up until about maybe 10 years ago, I would get gout 4 to 5 times a year. And sometimes so badly, so horribly bad that I would hallucinate from the pain. Sometimes my feet would swell up so badly it looked like a football with little sausages poking out the end of my toes. And there had been a couple of times it was so bad I sat there, my friend stopped me. I sat there with a paring knife, and I was tempted just to open up the joint of my toe to let out the pressure because my skin was so tight.
Yep, I know that pain. When I was first diagnosed with gout last year, I was in a similar situation. Although gout is a common form of arthritis, there is nothing common about the chronic pain it can cause. I mean, chronic pain is chronic pain. You just have to get used to it. And that was my philosophy. Just, dude, get over it and just keep rolling. But this was, starting to get really tedious. And particularly with getting in the way of things that I like to do, like some sports. I like boxing. I do like walking, contrary to what my girlfriend might think. And I really love being active, but this was just starting to prevent me from doing just normal things, and walking being the most important. So I've always wondered why these flare-ups happen and what it is. So Dr. Fields explains this for us.
If someone gets a flare of gout, they would have a joint that's inflamed. An inflamed joint gets red and hot and tender and swollen, and the pain can be extremely severe. We know that gout is one of the most painful types of arthritis. Patients have described in focus groups have been that they'd feel like their toe was broken, or like they were stepping on broken glass, or they had burned their toe.
Dr. Fields is a rheumatologist at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City and a professor of clinical medicine. Now, Dr. Fields has treated gout in patients for many years and has a strong interest in gout research.
A gout flare, for example, in the toe or the ankle, is very disabling because the degree of pain is very severe. People can't even walk. They can't go out, and they often can't go to work. The quality of life interruption with gout is quite significant. It's really important to get it diagnosed because of the dramatic effectiveness of lowering the uric acid on preventing the complications of gout, on stopping the flares, stopping the joint damage, preventing further toe fire, preventing kidney stones. All of those things are very effectively managed with early starting of uric acid lowering therapy.
So after the break, we'll share more about how to lower your uric acid to help prevent gout flares.
The Gout Show is sponsored by Horizon Therapeutics. Horizon is focused on researching, developing, and commercializing medicines that address critical needs for people impacted by rare and rheumatic diseases. Have you ever had a sudden pain and wondered what it might be? It could be gout. Nearly 9 million Americans have gout, which means you or someone you know has it. Visit thegoutshow.com to learn more about gout and to take our quick quiz to find out if you've got uncontrolled gout, as well as to find resources on gout and other related diseases. Visit thegoutshow.com.
Welcome back to the Gout Show. So we know that uric acid is one of the causes of a gout flare-up. I know that when it happens to me, I can't walk or work easily. Luckily for me, I can work from my home studio. I sit down when I need to, and people can't see me. But how do people deal with it who are on their feet all day, like Oso? Here's more from him about how gout has impacted his life.
Well, you kind of just learn to suck it up and just work around it and limp all day. And you find special shoes and you go home and you soak your feet, but you want to power through. But I couldn't do that anymore because it felt like it was actually damaging my bones at some point.
Wow. Oso's gout certainly impacted his work life, but it also creeped into his personal life too, which is not surprising. Now, here's more from Oso.
It affects me when I get invited to go to things. I can't go because I can't walk that far. And a lot of our activities is going hiking in the mountains. And there's been too many times where I said, well, can it be a short hike or can we go to, a park and hang out by the river or something? I wanted to go to the zoo in Asheboro one time. I got there, I was hobbling, and the girl at the zoo gate, she says, why don't you use a wheelchair? What? Didn't think about that. And my friend Marcia says, yeah, I'll push you. Get in the wheelchair. Let's go enjoy the zoo. You won't be hobbling all day. So I'm not opposed to using assistance when I have to go enjoy what I want to do.
Well, I can definitely relate to Oso there. I've had some personal experience with that myself, and social events are just not quite the same if you've got to do a lot of standing or, you're just not comfortable. I mean, when you're in chronic pain, your interaction with other people changes up just a bit. I mean, and it's imperceptible. In fact, sometimes you don't even know it. You're just irritated about what seems to be nothing. But in fact, it's simply a matter of that constant pain that you're going through on a pretty much 24-hour basis. Nephrologist Dr. Payam Chakuri explains that painful gout is more than just debilitating, but can mean serious consequences for your overall health. For those of you who may not know what a nephrologist doctor treats, it's a specialist of the kidneys. Dr. Chakuri treats lots of people with gout because gout is very common in people with kidney disease.
Some people might say, well, maybe the pain is not too bad. First of all, the pain is bad and no one should be in pain chronically. Second of all, with the new research, we are understanding that gout doesn't just affect your joints. If you have gout and you're getting gout flares every few months, it just means your gout is not controlled. People think that's normal. Physicians think that's normal. It is not normal at all. It means that the concentrations of uric acid in your body are high, above 6. And what does that mean? It means uric acid right now is being deposited all over your body, including your blood vessels, including your heart, and could potentially hurt your heart and your blood vessels.
That's a little hard to hear. I mean, I know when I first got gout, I thought it was just this toe pain I had to deal with. Now I'm starting to realize it's a chronic disease that's important to get under control. Here's more from Dr. Fields about the 2 main ways you have to think about treating gout.
Once someone gets diagnosed with gout, there's 2 problems. The first is what needs to be done for the flare. It needs to be decided what is the safest and most appropriate medicine to knock out the flare. And then the second question is going to be, what do they need to do for prevention? Everybody needs to be thinking about diet and, if appropriate, considering their weight. But a large group of people also need to be thinking about whether now or in the future they need to be on some medication that might help to lower the uric acid and prevent future flares.
Now, I ask every patient that comes on the show to share a piece of advice that they would give to those of us who are newly diagnosed with gout. Here's more from Oso.
Well, initially I like a family member and a good friend, you're just making stuff up. It doesn't hurt that bad, and get over it and muscle through. And I said, look, this is what's going on. I found some information online, actual photographs and stuff of what uric acid crystals look like, and say, look, this is what's actually happening inside my body, and I need you to understand that when it happens, I have no control over it initially, and it's hard for me to get away from. And as it happens, it hurts a lot. It hurts so much that I want to cut my foot open. So please understand that. Find ways to inform your family with facts and information, because when you have a chronic condition like gout, getting your family to understand how it works and to get your family to help support you in that is a big part of the stress issue. And I was trying to figure out what things were preceding my gout flare-ups. And it was usually like a large catering, or I've opened lots of restaurants, and there's a lot of things going on for that. So when I overwhelm myself with too many projects, that's usually when it would kick in. Because I was noticing, we're on opening day, and all of a sudden, bam, I got gout. That was like, okay, that's stress. And I've learned a long time ago to be ready for 6 things to go terribly wrong in my day, and to accept all the negative things that happen in a day and just take them and resolve them right away. I learned how to resolve issues right away. And as soon as you hold them, that's when your stuff starts shutting down. Your body tells you everything it needs to know if you stop and listen to it. It stopped me from doing things I like to do. And then, but over time, it taught me different ways of listening to my body and understanding how my body works, and ways that I eat, my stress levels, where I put myself to get stress, and where I can take myself to get away from stress. And that helped prepare me for even more difficult medical things I'm dealing with now. If I didn't have the tools I learned from gout, I probably wouldn't be able to do as well as I'm doing with my spine right now.
Yep, that's what it feels like. It's really great that Oso is able to manage his pain and stress. Now, our body does talk to us all the time. Sometimes it's screaming and not happy, but don't let that be your body's narrative. Stick with us, and on the next episode, we'll tell you more about how you can prevent a gout flare-up here on The Gout Show. And see what's coming up in the next episodes.
At the time, it was just kind of like, I wonder if I broke my toe. When I got back on Monday, I went to the podiatrist, and he told me that it was a gouty attack and that I have gout. And that's how it started.
So thanks for listening to The Gout Show, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a rating. We look forward to sharing more with you in the next episode.